like and subscribe. What traditionally male-dominated hobby you've tried had the most welcoming / accepting community? I think going to the gym maybe? Everyone is very welcoming and helpful. I was afraid at first, because I go alone pretty much every time, but I already got a lot of help and motivation, from men, women, older woman. It's a very accepting community and we all have the same goal. It's great. In a similar vein, rock climbing. I spend a lot of time in climbing gyms and everyone is super friendly and encouraging. I was going to say lifting. Almost all the men I have come across have been nothing but pleasant and willing to help when asked. I do get some unsolicited help, but it is almost never rude, off-putting, judgmental, or creepy. Lifting for sure. All of the guys there are super chill and accepting. The only issue is the music, lots of heavy metal, which I know at my jam. That said, if I piped up and asked hey could we play some Madonna, I'd probably be okay with it. Good dudes at the lifting gym overall. I'm a guy that goes to the gym regularly. Part of it is that they respect the time and effort anyone takes to go to the gym to better themselves, because they understand what it takes and started in the same place too. If they see you there consistently you will definitely have their respect. The other part is just basic human decency, and that most guys know how intimidated women feel when they go to the gym, especially if you're new there, and might make conscious effort not to seem so. Guys feel it too, we just don't show it. At least I do, and I hope I'm not the only one. I'm a guy here, pretty chunky myself. I have to say it is true. Going to the gym seemed like a very intimidating affair at first, worrying how people will judge me. The gym is really a place where people go to improve themselves. Everyone has been helpful and supportive. Firearms / shooting. Lifting. Seconding firearms / shooting. I've never had a bad experience, and my best experiences have been at outdoor ranges in the Podunks South. Bunch of redneck guys who were super encouraging and helped put me at ease as a beginner. Came to say firearms / shooting. Best community I have found for all. Never get any sexist BS, really open and helpful people, and easy to get involved as much or as little as you want. Definitely. I went to a shooting range a few times with my friend and everyone there was very encouraging and helpful. For sure. Plus range masters are always ready to help if you want it, and generally people have a lot of respect for what they're doing and know it's dangerous. It's the people on the news who take things too far. Seconded. I love the firearms community. Very helpful and welcoming. I have attended USPSA shooting competitions and all the male shooters were always willing to help with me becoming a better overall shooter. Awesome community. Finch breeding, and probably bird breeding in general. It is traditionally dominated by old men here, and the clubs and knowledge are slowly dying out, but they have been very open and welcoming to me. Sounds like a super specific, but cool hobby. I used to own a pet store, and we sold lots of finches. Generally, they were bred by old European men, or young gay men. We had the gay, or European, before legally blonde. OMG finches are my favorite birds. Rugby. The team I joined had separate womeners and meners teams, but we played touch rugby for fun at the end of sessions together, and going out as a whole club was great. Everyone just there BC they loved the sport and always up for a good time with everyone. I was about to say rugby. Yes, rugby is the one sport through my experience that the women's team was just as respected as the men's team, and the men's team was always very inclusive, great dynamic. Yes, rugby. And you can show up anywhere on earth, and if rugbyers around, you can go hang. Not always the case, but for me, video games. Particularly going to community events in my town related to games. I am not even going to try to defend online gaming at all. I do not do too much online gaming, and I am sure when I've all heard the many horror stories. But, a lot of my current friend group came from me going to events at a local game store. Video games have been a great piece in my life, and joining my local community made it so much better. I found online gaming pretty good actually. Super competitive games can be toxic, in general, not just to women/girls, but MMORPGs, online role-playing games, are usually pretty good. I personally am loving Final Fantasy XIV right now. I get to be Catgirl, lol. But my biggest advice would be to play with IRL friends online. It shields you from the bad actors a lot, and makes the good experiences even better. Start a Discord with your friends, and add chill people to it. My experiences in this have been different. This makes me really happy, since I hear so many horrible stories about how women are treated when they are gamers. You keep doing whatever makes you happy. I have been online gaming for most of my life. Horror stories, but also found my best friends online. I'm so glad I found this, and see others find gaming so awesome. Was just about to say the same thing. Online gaming, though I think it definitely depends on the game. Met some super interesting people from all across the world online, and have easily become fast friends. The guys have been super helpful and welcoming, happy to teach and assist. Now online gaming has become a big part of my weekend routine, and I wouldn't give it up. 10/10ths would recommend. Climbing at an indoor climbing wall. Best experience ever. It's like a social plus exercise. Agreed. Great places to hang out. Literally and figuratively. Climbers are maybe some of the best people I know. I've never been to a climbing center and not had really good interactions. This surprised me, but there's an even gender split in climbing. https://americanalpinnerclub.org/state of climbing report. I have a friend who swears by it. I want to give it a try soon. My gym is all women. Magic the Gathering. Once I was capable of explaining what I wanted my playstyle to be, everyone was crazy helpful. I had the exact opposite reaction when I tried to get into the local MTG scene. I'm shocked. Although getting in is likely the biggest barrier for most. I had the same experience with D&D. Dungeons and Dragons. I think it's getting more female friendly now, but both my previous D&D groups were male dominated, and I've found that once people know you're into it, they become really helpful and welcoming. D&D is awesome, and I don't know how or why it got stereotyped as a nerdy male hobby, when it's really just storytelling, the game. Dude, I play with my friends and boyfriend, who are all dudes. It would be amazing to have another woman to play with, honestly. But we all agree that it would be super weird for our DM to put out an LFG for one war mono vertical bar. My husband has been a DM for about 5 years, and he is always trying to get more women to join the group. It's hard because it is so male dominated. I have met some of my best girlfriends through his group though. I personally don't play, but I love to host the group, especially when a new lady joins, so she feels more comfortable. It was definitely male dominated way back in the old days. Since my return to it a few years ago, the groups I've participated in have been pretty evenly split. I hope that's a wider trend, and not just my experience, because it's great. Muay Thai. I started years ago, and was one of the few women who joined. My gym is so incredibly welcoming. Has been from the start. Also, my crew won't tolerate egos/ashlery either. I'm used to being in male-dominated areas/industries, etc. I also started in tech back during the dot-com boom, when it was like 95% men. I was one of 2 women *I in my entire department of my old tech firm. I found the same with Krav Maga. I'm often the only woman, or one of 2, in a class, and my instructor is adamant that the guys not go easy on me. Also, my job is in corrections. They are getting better at hiring women, but I'm often the only one on shift. Especially nights, when we have less staff. I was going to say this about MMA. I joined a gym in college for a summer and at first was intimidated, being one of the only women in the class, but the guys were really nice, and wanted me to do well. Heavy music. The scariest looking people are the most welcoming. Same experience here. Most people don't even mention that I'm a woman. Yep. Although I was more of a goth, I had, still do, a soft spot for heavy metal. I've always been attracted to more underground stuff, and I find they are happier. Also love 70s/80s punk, and as a Latiner it's not common, so I get a lot of solidarity from those around me. Boxing and the gym in general. I thought everybody was going to judge me and make fun of me, but they are actually really helpful with explaining/helping you. Archery, the guys there were great and welcoming. Good to know. I have not tried archery yet, but it is on my list. Just signed up for some introduction lessons. Happy to hear this. I totally agree. I've been doing archery for most of my life and I absolutely agree. All the older men at the shooting range I go to are always giving me advice on my form and I just love the community. Restoring vintage sewing machines. Everyone is so nice. Woodworking. Everybody just tries to help everybody else with their project. It's a really specialized skill, and nobody makes the noobs feel bad. If anything, the community seems to commiserate when something goes wrong. Hi fellow woodworker. I'm only a hobby woodworker, but it seems even for professionals something is bound to not go exactly right. It's part of the fun, You're always learning and improving. Definitely a great community. Woodworking. Same. I'm a novice woodturner, and the groups I'm in are mostly men, and there is zero sexism, all just helpful. Makers. I was frequently the only girl at maker spaces and the men were very welcoming and kind. I also met my husband at one. A maker space is a place people go to make things. Anything they think up and want to make. They often have laser cutters, wood/metal shop tools, electronics, sewing, rarely, high voltage, CNC mills, etc. Lifting. Legit thought that I was going to get laughed out of the free weights section, but the guys were always sound. Bonus was always having access to the lighter dumbbells. Capoeira classes. I was raised in the city of Capoeira, Salvador, and this martial arts/dance has such an interesting history. Certain video game communities, namely Monster Hunter and Fire Emblem. Bouldering has been great to get my friends into. Yeah, but bouldering and climbing are almost evenly split gender-wise. Craft beer industry. Do you mean brewing? Not sure if I'm statistically wrong here, but at least from my experience, D. I watched along with a campaign of a fairly big group of male friends a few times, and when I said I was interested in playing myself they got super excited and went out of their way to help me build a bomb character and let me join mid-campaign. It was super wholesome. I'd say shooting/hunting and fishing are very welcoming to women. Keep in mind there are *CKS everywhere, but I have never had anyone act malicious towards me in either of those areas, just for being a woman. In any case, people have been helpful and supportive. The only male-dominated hobbies where some people have made me feel inferior for being a woman are working out/going to the gym and video games. Another great one that came to mind is autocross. People have been super supportive there too, and everyone is always telling me to go for it, talk about cars, tell me about their strategy/offer advice, take me along as a passenger if they are driving a lap, etc. I have literally been told by multiple men, go for it, when I'd love more female racers. Hopefully the assholes know better than to be a duck to a well-armed woman. Coding. Picking up coding languages in HTML, CSS and JavaScript has been very welcoming, and with lots of encouragement to go further. Video games. I have never gotten any flack besides regular teasing that I throw back at them. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu. Beer tasting. Don't get me wrong, I get a lot of from brewery staff. They love to give my beers my boyfriend and his drinks to me, or don't even talk to me. But the brewers, the sommeliers and all the technical staff are great. They know there are great women in the business and they really try to include people. I can't wait for beer events to return to Europe. I'm super into beer and my ex was super into Tales/mixology. The amount of times my beer was given to him and his Tales were given to me was almost every single time. But my experience with brewers is the same. If you appreciate the beer and want to talk about it, so do they, and they don't really seem to care who you are. The analytic meme community, people who are really into memes, discuss them, analyze them, make complicated very niche and surreal ones. I've yet to hear women aren't funny, so they can't make memes xddd, which I was totally expecting. I had never heard of this being a thing, but I am intrigued. Is there a subreddit for it? Boxing. I was the only female and they loved me and treated me with the utmost respect. Football. I admit I was a did, but I had a warming welcome from the boys. Grass level car events. Autarks, time attack/solo track, etc. Most of the guys are super happy to share their love of cars with anyone who would like to give driving events a try. I met a few long-time GFS events/car clubs too. Car show groups. I'm a major gearhead, and I have never felt more accepted by so many different walks of life than at a car show or event. Sometimes the attention would be too much. I had a big flashy Ford, and I liked to be just as showy. I always loved being just one of the guys in our group. No one made things weird, and I felt I belonged. So nice to see this. I recently bought an old restored Jeep, and started going to the Jeep meets in my area. I was delightfully surprised at how many women come out to show off their rigs. And with some of them, it's pretty obvious they've put a lot of time and attention into making their rigs their own. Sword fighting. Oh, that sword fighting. Martial arts. I do karate and everyone has always been really friendly, helpful and welcoming. Poker. Trail maintenance. Everybody was just happy to be out in the mountains. Also, being 30+ years younger than the rest of the team meant that my lack of knee/back problems was more significant than my gender. Music. Honestly, when I started they very likely welcomed me, because a lot of them hoped to date, or just sleep with me. I was a cute young woman who could sing. But now I am a married, middle-aged mom, and they welcome me because I am good. Muay Thai. I felt so incredibly welcomed, and I absolutely love it. My building and flying model rocketry hobby. All of the men have been nice to me and very supportive. Not once have they been mean or cruel, or accusing me of faking the interest. They've been very helpful to me. Video games, Pokemon Go in particular. Pokemon Go has always been really welcoming, especially to kids and first-timers. I have had 3 run-ins in the 3 years I have been playing and all 3 were women in their 30s. One even started with my then 13-year-old daughter. An average of 1 bad day a year is still pretty good in my book. You've been visited by the ghost of a very important man. Pay your respects by liking and subscribing, and he'll grant you 3 weeks of good luck.